Hi everyone, Nikolaj Ronnow here with Talking Elite Fitness. And today I'm talking to 7-time CrossFit Games athlete Patrick Vellner. He talks about his performance in the quarterfinals and his expectations for the rest of the season. And Uncle Pat isn't done yet. Hey Pat, how was this weekend?
It was good. We were just kind of, I don't know, it was pretty chill. I took it relatively light, tried not to stress too much, but I just did it all Thursday, Friday, and then been kind of relaxing. I have just been hearing that there's like some major adjustments going on for like some of the VUp standards and stuff, which I don't know. I think that I think it's dumb. I think people are going to get a lot of penalties for the feet together thing. And it like depends how nitpicky you want to be. And I think that's a pointless standard. It doesn't, if your feet are like kind of together, whether they're touching or not, there's no advantage gained. Like unless you're trying to do something really crazy with like a weird straddle that's really obvious, then sure. But if your feet are just like a few inches apart, it's the same movement. It's the same reason we don't have to do pull-ups with our feet together. Like it's just it's not part of making the movement easier or harder. So, and like a lot of CrossFit athletes have big fat thighs. So like, I mean, Boz can sit there and put his ankles together and say that's great. But like when you ask a bunch of the best athletes to do it, it's just like that's not like a normal position. Like when they feel like, oh, my legs are together, your feet might not be touching, but your like thighs are touching hard. So I think that there's going to be a lot of aggressive penalties in that workout that are probably not merited. And it's going to be a gong show. So I haven't gotten approval for mine. Neither of the two workouts in workout 3 or 4, I haven't had approvals for any of that second work window. So it's just like no word penalties or approvals or anything. Just like haven't heard anything. And I just got approval for my last one. So I think they're clearly just like going through a lot of stuff. And so they're way back.
A lot of stuff is happening. We've kind of seen the same with I feel like some athletes, like you say, with big thighs. If you have big thighs and big calves, like some people basically can't go below parallel. Like there's no getting there because this is too big.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm curious to see how that plays out. But it's one of those things. You're like a little bit stressed until you hear something. I think it's not going to really affect me a crazy amount. But it just is one of those things. Like you can't really close the book on quarterfinals until all that stuff's done and you have all your approvals in.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've been just the last 2 days kind of sitting here being like, geez, I'd really like if they just sent me an email. Like even if it's like, oh, well, you're going to give you a penalty like this. It's like, just tell me something.
Right.
I hate the quiet.
You finished off the weekend or Friday in your sense with an event win. Was that a good feeling to kind of cap it off with a home run on test number 5?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's funny because this is the quarterfinals. You can do it whatever order you want, right? So on Thursday, I did the third workout and then the first and then the second. And then on the Friday, I actually did that test 5 first. And then I
before
finished
the
GHD workout because I figured that was the workout that would probably kind of affect your body the most. And I didn't want to do rope climbs aren't great after you've done a bunch of GHDs and core work because just pulling your legs up and a bunch of heavy hinging, it just wasn't what I wanted to do. So I figured I'd knock out the deadlifts first and then save the GHDs for last. But test 5 was good. I mean, that's a good workout for me on paper. So it's nice when you can take a big swing and it's everything still works the way it should, right? So go figure, heavy deadlifts and gymnastics pulling is still something I'm good at.
Right.
But it was good. It's like you never know, right? Quarterfinals again, being online, you just like you finish it and you're like, yeah, that was about as fast as I think I could do it. It was hard at the end, and you like go as quick as you can. You kind of make an aggressive decision and try to just hang on to it. But that was a fun workout to do, and particularly being strong in those movements, I feel like it was a fun one to just kind of see where you're at and say, like let's go for it a bit and really push. There's nothing really in your way that's gonna stop you. You're just gonna feel heavy in those rope climbs at the end if you make a really aggressive decision. So I went with aggressive and it paid out. So it's nice.
Is it other than obviously you need to take it for the semifinals? That's the main goal this weekend. And probably in the secondary, getting in the best heat is of course you need. Is it also banking a little bit of confidence? Like, all right, I'm right there with Justin Medeiros, who you're going to be facing in in 7 weeks at semifinals.
Yeah, that's kind of fun, huh? I think it's definitely, I would go so far as to say the priority for me in quarterfinals is definitely staying in the top 10 in West, and anything beyond that doesn't really matter, but that does matter. So being in that top heat when you're going in is an advantage that I want. So that's great. I mean, everything else is a little bit of ego. You can say, send a message, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think that that's really the case. I think it's nice to see, I did the workouts with some members at my gym, some people who are pretty young competitors getting into competing. And so I didn't have like other elite athletes there pushing me or anything like that. So it's a good sign that you can kind of motivate yourself and push yourself to a pretty good threshold when you're by yourself, when the chips are down. And I can't help but look at our scores, and I think we tied on one. We were like,
right, it's close,
seconds apart in almost every workout. The only one he beat me by any real margin on was the crossover workout, and that was like, to be honest, I don't read too much into that workout.
I hear you.
And like I didn't have my beaded rope or anything like that, so I kind of just winged it on that one, and it went good, but I think I certainly could do better, and it doesn't necessarily represent where I think I could be in that workout. So I think it's pretty even match right now. So that's fun, and I mean, it makes it exciting, and obviously it's always nice to get a shot at the champ and see where they're at before the games. So yeah, I mean, Justin hasn't lost a live competition in a long time now, so it'd be nice to be able to hand him one.
But isn't it kind of a good point to like reference point to see where people are at? I mean, the two number one seeds going into the season won quarterfinals, with Mal winning on the women's side and Justin winning on the men's side. Like,
yeah,
so
I think anytime you compete, if you have a good, I mean, look, anybody who would have won the quarterfinals, you would look at them and be like, yeah, they're pretty legit. Like, right. Anybody who's going to win is going to be a very fit person. So, I mean, the tests were fun. Like, I think there were some specific tricks and stuff in there that tripped a few really strong competitors up. But I think anytime you have a chance to measure a whole field, like, you get to see all of the competitors that you're going to see later in the season, and everyone's doing the same workouts. And so it's a good opportunity to kind of see where things are at, and just for yourself to measure where, like, all right, am I trending in the right direction? Are there things that areas I'm dropping away where I think I shouldn't be? Or, you have to take that data and do your homework and say, what was great, what was not as great, what do I have to work on for the next 7 weeks to show up and be ready for the next test, right? So yeah, I mean, those like Mal and Justin, they're super fit. I don't think anybody would contest that, right? So it's cool. I think that it's nice to have an opportunity to measure up, and it's nice when your measurement is good. But obviously everybody's trying to be good in August. Right. So that's just part of the picture. There's things that are going to be tested later down the road that you can't test now. And those are the areas that you got to kind of pay attention to as well. So, like I said, things like that last test, like, I know I'm good at that stuff, and it's fun to be able to do it and check in and say, yep, still good.
Still good at it.
But that's not what's going to win you the CrossFit Games, right? So I think it's still trying to keep tabs on everything else and make sure you're doing all the other stuff you need. But right. Hey, I'm not getting any younger, so it's always nice to get some of those ones and do well.
Yeah, but
show everybody, I'm still here and I'm not dead yet.
But in order to win the CrossFit Games, you got to get to the CrossFit Games, and we saw, like, even this weekend, a guy, Willie George, like, he's out, like, he failed to qualify. So, like,
I haven't dug that far in yet, but
no, but I mean, that's he's been in the top 10 of the CrossFit Games, so it's it caught a few people off guard with the handstand push-ups.
Sure. I mean, there's no free rides, right? Like, you have to show up and be good when it's time to be good. And that's what's kind of hard about our sport, is like, even if you're like, I don't know how everybody's feeling, but like, let's say someone has an injury that, I've got a shoulder injury and it bugs me, so I can't really do those wall facing handstand push-ups or whatever. Like, that's a serious problem when there's only 5 tests.
Yeah.
Like, one bad finish can seriously knock you out. If your semifinals only taking 30, 40 athletes, you can't afford a lot of mistakes.
No.
So it's just, you've got to be good when you need to be good. So that's a big challenge, right? That comes down to, like, being healthy, being prepared, having a lot of things line up at once.
This is going to be your 8th time competing as an individual at the CrossFit Games. pending you make it, of course. Does it feel like it's been that long?
No, it doesn't. I actually just did some quick finger math there for you,
I
but
saw.
yeah, you're right. You're right. Eighth, but no, it doesn't at all. It feels crazy every year to think about that. I don't know. It's funny. It is. You always feel like it's like everything else. You don't feel like you get older. Everybody else just gets older, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like the landscape's just changed around me, and I haven't changed at all. Is how it feels in my head, but um, it's pretty wild. At this point, yeah. I mean, I'm an ultra veteran at this point, and there's not a lot of people around that have more experience. So it is pretty crazy. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. So I don't know. Hopefully that means I'm just young at heart.
From now and the next 7 weeks before semifinals, and then from there before the games, what do you need to work on to be a top contender for the top of the podium?
I mean, there's a few things. Obviously, I'm getting back to doing a bunch more swimming again. I've been swimming kind of 2 or 3 times a week for the last long time. So that's something that, if you generally only one event at the games, but it's one that nowadays with how good everyone is, you can't afford to drop things like that anymore.
Right.
And I think people are strong. Like again, it's hard to kind of say it. You can't drop anything. Like I'm good at my gymnastics stuff, but if you let it slide and you think, I can go 5 weeks without really tapping into that stuff, it doesn't just affect your ability to have the stamina or the whatever, the capacity. It affects your confidence in making a game plan. It affects all kinds of things. So you've got to juggle a lot of things. I think it's cheesy to say, but like I need to stay healthy, like as healthy as I can be, controlling impacts so that I don't come into the games with, a knee injury or a shoulder injury that's just nagging and is in the back of your mind. I think I need to make sure that I have as many good days as I can between now and then. Just keep doing the things that I need to do, like build in those things like those swims, those runs, those things that are going to be more games like a lot of the strongman things, but trying to do it in a way where the impact is at least controlled enough that my body doesn't break down too much.
Yeah.
Get as much sleep as I can, eat good, all that stuff. But it's hard. Like I'm running around doing lots of things, and I've got a young kid, and I'm working, and so I'm always trying to juggle lots, and it's not as easy for me to just I don't know, not as easy for me to take care of my body as well as I think some of the other athletes are. But I do my best.
I'm not going to bother you with the question of what your goal is this season. I guess it's always the same goal, and it has been for the last 7 or 8 years. How's the confidence for I can win the CrossFit Games? Like, how is that in like your everyday training? Do you still think you
I
can?
mean, look, it waxes and wanes, like it comes and goes, right? You can have really good days and you can have really bad days. And on your bad days, things get real low and you're like, man, I don't even belong at the games.
Right.
Um, and then on a good day, you feel unbeatable, right? So that's how it works when you're pursuing goals like that, hard goals. It's like that rule of thirds where, a third of the time you feel okay, a third of the time you feel great, a third of the time you feel terrible. So it's trying to remind yourself that those days where you feel really bad and everything's really bad, you can't hit routine weights or paces. That's pretty normal, and that's a normal part of the journey, and not letting that mess with your head too much. It helps when you compete like I did this week with, fairly relaxed about it and executed really well, made the right decisions, didn't second guess anything, and everything flowed really nice. That helps the confidence a ton. But hey, if this was another week, maybe that execution is a little different. So you go to other competitions and you compete against the top guys, and it might affect you a little bit. But I think on a good day, I can hang with any of those top athletes still. And I'm threatening. So, the more you put yourself out there and you see those things and you collect those data points, I think it helps you understand where you're at, what your potential is, and where your capacity is at. And, yeah, I still think that on the right weekend with some good momentum, and I'm as deadly as anybody else on the floor.
And you most likely will be joined by quite a few countrymen this year. Looking at the leaderboard, what's happening with the fitness level in Canada? I mean, you got Sam Cormier coming in, Jack Fallow, obviously you, Brent, and then Jeff has been in the top 5 multiple times now. It seems like you have some fit people up there.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, It's about time. I'm glad that they're there. Um, I mean, Sam's coming back. He was team last year there with Rich's
Right.
team, so he's been good for a while, and I think he just took a year to do that, and so he'll be great this year again. Jeff, as I think he's on an awesome trajectory, and when he's again, all those guys, when things are going well, they're going real well, and you have to be very concerned about any one of those guys. So I'm hopeful for Jack. Obviously, he was semifinals last year and didn't quite qualify, so it'd be cool to get him in there. And then there's all the other Quebec guys as well. So we've got a few more popping out of the woodwork. So we still need,
Yeah.
I think we still need a better youth movement. On the women's side, we've kind of got Emma and we've got Jack on the men's side, but there's not enough. We don't have the same youth movement as the US does right now, or some of Europe.
No.
So we gotta get some more of that going. So hopefully
Yeah.
that's in the works, and maybe in the next year or two, uh, it'll happen, and then some of us can retire.
Yeah. But is Fraser also a little bit Canadian?
I mean, I think he's dual citizenship. Both of his
All
parents are
right.
Canadian,
All right. So
so
yeah.
we would claim him, but I don't know if he'd claim us.
All right, Patrick, I'm going to let you get back to your family. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'll see you at semifinals.
Cool. We'll see you there.